Hey, what's happening? It's Glen Gosch, realtor and broker, here once again with our first steps in the home buying process video series. Previous videos, we talked about the importance of talking with a lender and talking with a realtor as the first steps, what to do beforehand as when you're looking online, looking on websites and apps, stuff like that. We talked about being money conscious and things to consider about money as you're diving into the home buying process. And in this video, we are covering some tips on how to choose a lender. So when you look online, different blogs and websites that are giving advice on how to do this, a lot of times you see some pretty generic tips on how to do things. And it kind of goes something like this, like shop around with a few lenders, find the best interest rate, find the one with the cheapest fees, and then go with that lender. Well, that seems to make sense, right? I mean, if you could save a little bit of money here and there, why not do that when you're buying a home? No need to overpay for a loan, right? Makes sense. But I want to talk about some of the things that are often not considered when selecting a lender. So customer service, expertise, reputation of the loan officer and their track record, the ability to close on time, and really just the ability to get stuff done, be able to close the loan, provide a good experience from beginning to end, and have your home actually close so you can move in. And then you might be thinking like, Glenn, I mean, is there really like that big of a difference between lenders? And, and a lot of times you are splitting hairs, but sometimes there are big differences. Say lender A, like lender A you found online somewhere on a website or whatever, and they have the lowest fees, the lowest rate, in comparing all the other rates of lenders and closing cost fees and stuff, you see that lender A appears to save you about $2,500, let's say, okay? Hey, no, it seemed like lender A be the one to go. Well, now let's say there's lender B that, maybe their rate appears to be slightly higher than lender A, but there's somebody that's worked locally for a couple of years, somebody that was maybe recommended by a friend or a realtor or something like that. That lender has a good reputation but they seem to be a little bit higher as far as closing costs go than lender A. Now, let's say there's also lender C that, maybe they're also a little bit higher than lender A, pretty comparable to lender B as far as interest rate and closing costs go. But maybe lender C is somebody that's worked here locally in Tri-Cities for several years, somebody that's recommended by a realtor, somebody that takes the time to sit down with you and really compare all these rates, closing costs, and kind of inform you on what all these mean and even compare loans. So you can see what is involved with each of these. Because one of the big complaints I'll hear from buyers is they go with a lending institution because that's where they bank, or it's just somebody they found online or saw a commercial for on TV or whatever. And then there's some fees involved that they didn't quite understand or something like that. And then it ends up just being not that good of a situation, or you're not saving as much money as you thought. And then there can even be doomsday scenarios, okay? So if you're going with somebody that you really don't know about their reputation, you go on a website, they just assign you to somebody, you don't really know who that person is, if they're good, if they're a good loan officer, what they're doing. So, I mean, what could possibly go wrong? Well, one thing could be like maybe your offer doesn't get accepted. If you're using some lender that doesn't have a good reputation, and you're in a competing offer situation, and another buyer comes with an offer that's comparable to yours, but they have a local lender that has been in the industry for 10 years locally. People know that person, they know what they're doing. That may cause you to lose out on an offer. Another thing is not closing on time. If you're going with a loan officer that you don't know their reputation, don't know how well they are going to work for you, what if your home doesn't close on time? What is that going to cost you? What will that cost you if your you're ready to move in with this moving truck, and now you got to wait another 4 days to close, and all your stuff sitting in the moving truck, and you're paying a fee every day for that. Then that starts diving into that, that closing cost money that you thought you were saving. What if you don't close at all? What if, for some reason, you get to underwriting and the lender says no? The underwriter say, no, you can't close on this loan because it was something that the loan officer screwed up, or something that they didn't catch with your financial situation, or whatever the case is. I mean, it doesn't happen all the time, but we see it happen where for whatever reason, the loan can't close. And now what do you do? If you're in a rental situation and you've already told your rental place, whether it's an apartment or a house, that you're moving out already, now you can't close on your loan. Now you've already paid for a home inspection. You've already paid for an appraisal. And now you're back to square one again, maybe looking for another reputable lender to buy a house with, kind of homeless while you're trying to figure that out. Pretty stressful situation. So then, with that, there can be added frustration, added stress in the process, and that just sucks. I mean, the home buying process, I know a lot of people advertise a stress-free home buying process. I think that's kind of a tall order. There's always going to be a little bit of stress, but hopefully your realtor and your loan officer are helping to minimize that stress in the home buying process, not add to it, right? So just a couple of things to keep in mind, right? When you're going to look for a lender, like you can get a recommendation from your realtor or from a friend or whatever and go that route. If you're looking to compare lenders, then, don't only look at interest rate and closing costs. I'm not saying that's not important. If you can save $1 going with one person versus another, by all means, you know what I mean? But don't discount reputation, professionalism, customer service, and the expertise of a loan officer to be able to get your loan done again, so you can move into your home. In the end game, that's the name of the game. I can tell you the purchase price on any home I've bought. I can tell you the purchase price of many of the homes I've sold. I can't quote you what the closing costs were, what the interest rate on each one of those were. Again, not saying that's not important, but don't let that be the only factor in determining, in picking a lender. So, okay, thanks for watching this video. We got one more in this video series talking about tips on selecting a realtor. Again, if you're looking for a realtor to start the home buying process, my information will either be above or below this video, depending on what device you are watching this on. Look forward to hearing from you, and look forward to seeing you on the next video where we talk about how, or at least tips on selecting a realtor. All right. Again, my name is Glen Gosch, realtor and broker. You can find me at goshrealestate.com.